Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. It is currently Saturday today. I'm totally not really with the days. I'm keep having to like remind myself what day it is. But yeah, it is Saturday. As I said, I hope you're doing really well and you're staying safe and you're staying healthy. I thought I would pop on here with another real-time draw with me video because I know that I've had so much feedback from you guys and that you are really enjoying them, so I thought I'd carry on. And I mean, it's kind of a bit of the same as the one that I did previously, like last week I think it was, for this like leather, but I'm going to try and go into a bit more detail today. So the pencils that I'm using for this piece, for this leather work anyway, is the Faber-Castell Polychromos, the majority of the pencils that I'm using for this, and I'm using the cool greys, so from cool grey 1 up to cool grey I think it's a 5, and then the Payne's grey. Also a little bit of black, and I'm using a couple of colours from the Caran d'Ache luminance. So I've got Payne's grey in 3060, and also I have got a silver grey here also, and I'm using the titanium, I'm using the white from the luminance in this pencil extender here, for those of you who are interested. And the other bit of information I'll give you is that I'm going to probably be using the Mono Eraser by Tombow, and also this soft Dana Rowney brush just to sort of just remove all this little specks of grain and dust and stuff I get on the portrait as I work. So I'm just initially starting off. One of the problems that I find that when I work with colour pencils is that I draw obviously the piece out in graphite, and then once I've spent a bit of time on the portrait, the lines seem to get a little bit lost. So initially, if I need to pick out a few lines again, I'll go back in with sort of a darker pencil like I've done in these lines here, just to try and sort of like establish where the marks need to go. But apart from that, that is all sort of like by the by really. I just thought I'd sort of give that a little bit of insight. So what I'm doing right now is I'm currently using, I think this is Cool Grade 2 from the Polychromos pencils. And one thing that's really important to note is that you should never go any darker with your base layers than your lightest highlight area in the reference photo that you're using. So for me, I'm sort of just going backwards and forwards with different light colours. Like I've just picked up the silver grey, which is a slightly lighter bluier tone than the Coal Grey 2 from the Polys, and then I'm just going to go backwards and forwards and just build up the layers, so getting darker and darker. So one thing obviously with colour pencils, you always need to start off with your lightest colours and then work up to your darks. Again, just establishing where I need to sort of focus and put the darker bits. This is quite a challenge, this bit right here, because it is sort of like a little inlet bit for the leather work. So it's obviously where you bridle sort of like the what's it called, like the buckle, it's a buckle hole. So it's a little bit stressful. You'll probably lose me a little bit here, to be honest, because I have to focus quite a lot. I will obviously, one of the most important things when you're doing anything like this is to keep your pencils as sharp as possible. This is too blunt for me now, is this length, so I am using my KUM sharpener, and I am just going to keep sharpening the pencils as I go along through this draw with me video. I'm just trying to establish like where it's all going at the moment, and then I'll be able to sort of go in with a bit more pressure and some darker marks. But yeah, I wonder what you're all up to. You gave me some really good responses for what you're all doing in lockdown. Like, a lot of you seem to be getting quite creative, which is great. And yeah, so I mean, as I said, the UK has just extended its lockdown. I think it was two days ago now. The UK extended its lockdown for another 3 weeks, which doesn't really come as any surprise, to be honest. I think we are now sort of like at the peak of where we should be with this virus. So yeah, it's still quite stressful. It's still, I mean, I can't complain, I can't moan, I've got it pretty good, you know. We're still able to go out, we're still able to go out and exercise, I still go for runs and stuff. But I wonder what you're missing the most from the lockdown. Like, I miss really sort of basic stuff, like going to get coffee and prep with my parents at the weekend, or just having a catch up with my friends, or going to the gym, and just quite mundane things like that. I don't really have that much of a extravagant life, but I think it's like the small things that make that you miss the most, really, isn't it? And plus, I'm just not enjoying the fact that I feel like I'm turning into a slob. I'm really sort of like, I'm not a very good runner. I'm trying to force myself to go running, and yeah, it's proving to be a bit of a issue. I really do miss the gym, and I miss the social life from it too, because obviously being an artist, it's pretty lonely. So yeah, so anyway, what I am doing right now is I'm just, as I said, working backwards and forwards between the lights and the darks, to establish where everything needs to go. I'm picking up the paint grey from the luminance right now, because it's slightly bluer, and it's just a nice neutral bluey kind of colour. Obviously this bridle it's black, but where it's taken in a quite direct sunlight, it's sort of like got a hint of blue. So I'm just going backwards and forwards and just building up the colours, building up the layers as I go. So here in the UK we had, I think it ended about 2-3 days ago, we had the most incredible fundraiser going on here. I mean, lots of companies are doing fundraisers at the moment, and like food banks and things like that. But if you're in the UK, I'm sure you've seen it, and this has been all over social media and the news about the Captain Tom Moore, the veteran who walked 100 laps of his garden, and I think he's 99 years old. I think he's 100 years old this week. It's his birthday, and so far he has raised, he's completed the challenge now. People are still donating, and so far he's raised over £20 million, which for the National Health Service here in the UK, which is absolutely bloody incredible. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely an achievement. I think he's set out to raise £1,000 or something, and yeah, this is currently at like 20 million. So the UK is just, I think he's become like a national treasure, really. The UK's just gone mad for him. So that's been a bit of like a little positive story that's come out this week. I'll try not to talk too much about the coronavirus, because I feel like we're all getting a little bit fed up with hearing it. But yeah, as I said, I hope you're all keeping well and you're keeping safe, and you and your family's doing okay, and you're not too fed up yet. It's a weird time, very weird time, but I think one thing that's really important is just to try and make the most of it. Do whatever you're doing. I mean, now is like the perfect time to do stuff you never even thought of doing, like even if it's just little mundane stuff. Like I've got quite a lot that I'm tempted to retry, and I say retry, I haven't done this since I was a child, but watercolours. I've got a set of watercolours, and I thought I would do a little video, make a video from it about see whether I can do anything with watercolours, but I haven't filmed it yet. Haven't done it yet. Let's sharpen the pencil. So I'm going to try and pick out this inlet bit. It sort of goes round. It's not the easiest to draw these little things. Kind of goes round and then it's like a half semicircle. I'm drawing this I'm drawing this at the moment like not upside down, but I'm drawing it sort of like on its side, just to give me sort of like a better feel for, you know, because one of the really important things that I found with colour pencils is that I never like to go over what I've already done. Like if I can avoid putting too much pressure onto one of these bits, then I will. Like I always work with a bit of paper underneath my hand so it stops like the oils and stuff from my hand going onto the paper, because it can ruin how the colour pencil lays down. So I keep a bit of paper underneath it, but I never really like to put too much pressure back onto what I've already done, because it can lift the pigment off the paper and it can look a bit grainy and horrible. So I'm just going in with the paint grain out. It's not the darkest colour I'll use, but it's the darkest colour I'll use to get sort of like the bluey tinge that this Bridle's got. So I've been, I'm a little bit behind with commission work, because for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, I've been working on a boxer dog for the dressage rider Charlotte Dujardin over the past a couple of months, to be honest, and I finally finished the piece yesterday, and it's taken a little bit longer than what I think I initially sort of expected, so I feel like I'm a little bit behind with commission work. So obviously, for those of you who watched last week's video, I drew an owl, but I feel like that's gonna have to sort of be put in the drawer for now, go into hibernation for a bit whilst I sort of catch up with commission work that I've got booked, because I'm really fortunate that I'm really busy with commissions, and I just need to sort of crack on and get them done, really. So yeah, I mean, I've had a couple of ideas for videos as well. I'm gonna, in an ideal world, if I was more on top of things, I would create sort of like a schedule for my videos. So I'm thinking about doing, in an ideal world, I'd do like 3 a week. So I'd have this, like one of these real-time draw with me's, and then I'd do a more of a technique video, which would be like a shorter one where I sort of focused on one thing each week that you wanted to see. And then I did like a sit down video where I spoke about, I think, the business side of things, like I did last week where I was talking about building a brand, and the week before where I was talking about how to find positivity. That I'm going to do one this week about how to build your Instagram as an artist in 2020 and things like that. So yeah, I just need to keep focused, and obviously like the concept for the real-time draw with me videos isn't really a problem, because it's just these, I can just use commission work and I can sort of chat to you guys, and you always give me so much love, which is amazing, because you say that's kind of like listen to a podcast as you draw. So yeah, really grateful for that. But obviously I want to deliver a bit more useful content, because, as you know, I feel like I'm not really that much of a teacher, so I don't ever claim that this channel is like a teaching platform. I actually had someone write a comment on one of my videos saying that they felt that I'd misdelivered the content that I was providing, and that they follow lots of art tutorial pages, and that they didn't feel like they said that I was rambling too much, and that they got bored and that I wasn't giving them any useful content they couldn't really learn. So I mean, that's fair enough. I've never sold myself, I never put myself on here as like a tutorial artist. I am very much this platform, as I've always said, is very much an extension of my Instagram and my social media platforms, like for those of you who want to kind of see more like behind the scenes stuff. And it's like, it's just a nice place for us, you know, for me to chat to you guys and for me to get to know you, you get to know me a bit more. And this was never really a thing. I was never trying to make like a proper tutorial channel. I mean, yes, okay, for sure I will talk a little bit every now and then about what I'm doing, or how to, you know, some business advice, but that's where it kind of ends for me. I'm not really here for, I mean, there's plenty of pages and tutorial videos about how to do this and how to do that, and maybe, you know, I cover a little bit, sure, every now and then, but it's not like the main focus of this channel. I will give colour pencil advice and I also help you as far as I can, but to say that this is like a teaching platform would be a downright lie, to be honest. So I'm not even going to say that. So yeah, I'm sorry if you are that person you're watching, but I doubt you are now, to be honest, because I felt like you were really angry at me. I shouldn't laugh, but as I said, this was never meant to be like a teaching platform. So yeah, that is what I've got to say about that. Right, I feel like I need to kind of look around at this and make sure it's going on the right track, because one of the things that's really hard to do when you're working this side, this way round, is keep focused and not keep focused, just keep an eye on how it's looking from different angles. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shut, I mean, this isn't, I don't even need to see this. I hope you're in focus. This isn't sharp enough. This is a sharp pencil and it's not sharp enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start picking out, I mean, I don't even see that. I hope you can see that. It's not really an awful lot sharper, but it's definitely sharp enough. Yeah, for those of you who are interested, I damaged my finger. I was cutting my family's hair and cut my finger, so I absolutely butchered it yesterday. But yeah, little side note. So anyway, I am now going to go in with black and really just pick out the darkest of the darks. For those of you who have followed sort of this channel and my art journey for a while, you'll know that I don't really like to use too much black, because it can smudge quite a lot, especially like I'll use black at the end, but I don't really like to go in too much with black until the very end. Yeah, as I said, because it can be quite smudgy and just not the best really. So right, I'm just gonna put you on pause for a minute because I made a cup of tea and I'm very aware that it's probably going to be very cold in a minute, so I'm just gonna have a little bit of tea and I'll be back with you in a second. I need to also stand up and have a little bit of a stretch because I've spent quite a lot of time so far drawing, so I just need to have a little bit of a move around. So I'll be back with you in a second. Right, I am back. Had a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of a walk around, drank my tea. I need to go and have some food really. But yeah, I am back for now. If you can hear people, it's because it's Saturday and everyone's at home. Well, everyone will be at home anyway at the moment, but you know what I mean. People are like not working, they're kind of just roaming around. I always talk like there's loads of people in this house, there's only 4 of us, but I guess I'm very just aware when people are moving around when I'm filming. Okay, I think I'm pretty much going to call that bit a day for now. I'm going to put, I don't know whether I did put any black on here first. Yeah, I must have done because it's not really darkening up anymore. I'm just going to put a little bit of black through here. So I've been umming about talking to you guys about this, but I feel like it's going to come out in the, probably when I next do an update of this Instagram post, which will be tonight, so I might as well just address what's going to be coming up. So I don't really know where to begin with this, because I need to sort of make sure that I'm able to talk about it really, because so obviously I've been working on this piece for I want to say a couple of weeks on and off, about a week to 2 weeks on and off, and I was fortunate enough to meet Hooley, who is the subject of this portrait. Last summer, me and my photographer Rose went over to meet him, get the photos, and for the portrait. I feel like this portrait's been in the works for the longest time. I think myself and the owner started talking about this commission probably about 3 years ago, because it was a present from her husband for their wedding. It was like a wedding present. And anyway, but it was really important. We wanted to get the right photo and everything to be in place. So we waited, and obviously like as time went on, my diary got busier, and this piece sort of like we had to, as I said, wait for his coat to be coming through correctly, because, well, you know, his summer coat, because he's 23 earlier on in the week, and so he's getting on a little bit. And anyway, so a long story short, we finally got the photo that we were going to use for this portrait, and everything seemed to be absolutely perfect. And like, I've been utterly loving working on it, because it's just everything I love in a portrait, you know, really high shine bridle, the most beautiful eye, lovely rich coat. It's just, this is my kind of thing. I just absolutely adore doing stuff like this. This is what I love about my work. Not only that, is that I got to meet the owners and Hooley, and just really appreciate, you know, what I think that's one of the biggest things when I do get to meet the animals that I draw, is because I can kind of get a better idea of them as like from a personal point of view. You know, I get to see their character, I get to see a little bit of why their owners are so in love with them, and it's just a really, really lovely way to connect with clients, and I'm not just like sat at home drawing them. So anyway, that little ramble aside, obviously, as I said, this piece has been in the works for 3 years, so I've gotten to know his owner quite well as well. And she messaged me earlier on in the week saying that it's Hooley's birthday, and he was 23. So I put a little post on my Instagram wishing him happy birthday. And then his owner sent me some really sweet photos from his birthday. They managed to take him out for a little ride. He had you know, he just had a really lovely day, and they had a really lovely day with him. And you can just tell, you know, I've always been able to tell that he was just the most loved horse, from the initial phone calls to about the commission, to meeting him, to sort of meeting his owners, and just the way that the photos and stuff that I get sent about him, and little updates and things like that. 2 seconds, important text coming in. Right, sorry guys, I just got a text from Charlotte Dujardin about her portrait of Winnie, and saying that she's over the moon with it and really, really happy. So what a relief. I always get pretty anxious when I send over final briefs of portraits, but yeah, she's she's thrilled, so that makes me so happy. Anyway, a little side note, done. Yeah, so I think I can't remember where I was at with where I was telling you about, but anyway, so yeah, Healy obviously had his birthday earlier on this week, and as I said, I got sent the most wonderful photos from that day, and it was just so evident to see. You know, I've always been able to see, as I said, how much Healy was such a special part of his owner's life. So it came as such a shock for the next morning, which I believe was Wednesday morning, that I got a text from his owner saying that he'd had his breakfast that morning, the day after his birthday, and an hour later was found in a stable and he'd passed away. So all portraits are very special to me, and I always give my all to each and everything that I do, but it really shocked me, and it was something that I took quite. It affected me. I can't say it didn't, because obviously I'm halfway through this portrait. I've met the horse. I know him. I've known of him for several years, and I feel like, I mean, it might sound a little bit strange, but I almost feel like I really get to know the subjects that I draw. I mean, I spend hours and hours, like weeks and weeks, almost staring at their faces, getting to know every little piece of that animal, and so to have that text come through, it was such a shock. It was really surprising, and it was just almost heartbreaking, because I just feel like, obviously it was his time. He had it was the right time for him. He passed away in a stable, and but it doesn't help the fact that, you know, his owners have been left absolutely heartbroken. I think she had him for well over 10 years. I know that. I can't think of the exact number of years off the top of my head, but you know, most of her adult life, and I can't imagine how difficult it must be for her right now. You know, not only going through what we're all going through with Corona, but obviously to lose her special boy as well is absolutely heartbreaking. So it kind of made me push on with getting Winnie finally finished, because it's been something, you know, Winnie's portrait for Charlotte has been in the works for a while as well, and I needed to, you know, I had two very important pieces I had to do over the last month, Winnie being one of them, and now this being the other one. And yeah, I mean, it's never easy, and you know, it is part and parcel of having animals, I realise that, or anything in life, you know, but I think it just came as such a shock, because the day before, as I said, he seemed so bright and alert. I saw the photos, he had his ears forward, he looked so happy, and you know, it's obviously the right time for him, but yeah, it's just I should imagine I know that it's left such a unimaginable hole. So this portrait is even more almost important now than what it was initially. So I'm going to try and film as much as I can of it as possible, because that is what his owner has sort of asked for. So I'm going to do that, and I know that it's going to be upsetting, but if I can do anything to help her through this, then it will be sort of try and capture as much of the process as possible. I think the only annoying thing that the problem that I've got at the moment is, because I can't get hold of a hard drive, and I haven't got a hard drive to use, I can't keep hold of all the footage. So every time I film and upload something, I almost have to like delete all the footage off the camera, because I haven't got a big enough editing software. So I can only keep hold of the videos that I've done, so I can't, what I'm saying is I can't like collate them and make them into one big time lapse, which is really gutting, because it's something I would really love to have done, but yeah, I just can't do it, which is, as I said, really unfortunate, but it is what it is. There's always next time for big portraits, but it's just unfortunate that I know it would have been a lot for his owner at this stage, but unfortunately we no one expected this coronavirus, did they? So anyway, try and talk about something a little bit less strange. It's just, I mean, yeah, I don't want to talk about coronavirus, and obviously the passing of Hooley has affected me, and I know that it's definitely affected those that are close to him as well, so I'm just trying to do my best and just get this portrait underway as best as I can now. I need to almost, right, come up with a little, right. I know this isn't really the most interesting video, but yeah, as I said, I'm gonna try and film like an in-depth how to grow Instagram video, hopefully in the next day or so, because I feel like it's something that I can deliver. Also, I'm not gonna lie, this is actually the second time I filmed a video this morning, and the first one was me drawing this bit here, and it was pretty much out of focus. Well, the first 10 minutes of it was, because I feel like I have to press the screen every time that I need you to stay in focus. And yeah, I had a bit of a mare. And also this video is because of the text that I received from Charlotte. It's just throwing me a little bit, because it makes me really happy to know that I've made her happy with the portrait of Winnie. And also, yeah, I'm just looking forward for all this virus to be over, and I can go back up and over to the yard and see the Allegro, have a catch up with Charlotte, and just see the team, see how they're all holding up after this, and yeah, it'd just be nice to have a go catch up. And I think we've got a few little surprises up our sleeve as well that I've been chatting to Charlotte about this morning, so yeah, it's all going to be quite exciting. So yeah, got a few things going on at the moment. For those of you who, I'm going to say this once and one time only, because I feel like I talk about it in every bloody video I do now. Patreon unfortunately is not going to be coming anytime soon. I know that I said in my last week's video that I would be creating, sort of trying to live stream, because then I had a webcam on order, but the webcam turned up and it was awful quality. Absolutely awful. It got loads of really good reviews on Amazon, yet when it turned up it was like the worst thing I've ever used. Like the quality, the colour was awful, like it wasn't anywhere close to being close to what I see in real life or what this camera's showing you. It was so overexposed, you couldn't change the exposure. It was without a doubt an awful purchase, so that went straight back to Amazon. And I tried to look for like a webcam or something that I could live stream from, but again, nothing out there at the moment. I feel like because of this lockdown, everyone has bought webcams to keep in touch with their families, so unfortunately my Patreon channel is not going to be going live anytime soon, but that's fine, because I'm just going to keep putting content on here, and let's face it, you all get to watch it for free instead of pledging, so I guess it's not a bad thing. But anyway, right, next I feel like I need to put a little bit more shadow down here. it's just really hard for me to get an idea of where I'm going with this. I need to always highlight this bit a bit more. Oh, one thing I would say, and you probably noticed me doing it whilst I've been talking, because I don't even think about what I'm doing half the time. So when I use that Tombow Mono eraser, one thing I would never ever do is, if I wanted to pick out a highlight, like say for example I'll pick out this highlight here, so I just go backwards and forwards, and I don't know whether you can see that. I think you're going to focus, I hope you're going to focus, but I don't think you'll be able to see it as much as I want you to. But the pigment, I mean, it picks up the rubber, and if you keep going like that without cleaning it off, it almost it just doesn't end well. So one thing, if you have got one of these, it's really important to clean off the bit of rubber like I'm doing here, and then you can go back in, you've got a really clean erasing rubber. So yes, that is my little snippet of information. Okay, little tip Saturday today, isn't it? I'm thinking about doing some little mini, and I mean proper mini drawings, like some little hour-long drawings that I can make and do like real-time draw with me for, and you can kind of join them with me. But again, it's just time at the moment. As I said, I'm quite far behind with my commission diary, and I need to keep on top. And yeah, I don't really know where I'm going to go with that, but it's really hard for me to draw and talk. I think you've probably gathered that by now. And plus, this takes so long. Right, I think what would be really important for me to do right now is establish where the lines are. I know I can see a few lines here, but I feel like I need to establish a bit more. Okay. Right. So as I said at the beginning, I'm just sort of like, just very gently, like using a really light pressure to establish where the highlights are. Sort of like, no, not the highlights, the sort of detail lines are. And then I'm gonna go in with, because this bit down here is like a highlighty kind of bit. So like between these two lines that I'm drawing in now is more like a highlight. So that's the lightest bit of the portrait, or the lightest bit of this bit, and then oh god, I feel like I'm just talking at you and not really explaining very well. Okay, so this bit here is darker, so I'm going to use a slightly darker pencil. So I'm going to probably go in with cold grey. This is cold grey 3. It's not dark, but it's darker than what I was going in with at the moment, because this would be probably the darkest, the lightest point I will see in the reference photo. So I'm just going in using sort of like a medium pressure and just drawing what I see really. You can go back and forward with right, one thing I will say, it doesn't really matter what way you're using your pencil marks when it's something like this. You know, you don't have to follow the same. I mean, for me it's easier to work sideways because that's the natural way my wrist moves. So, but obviously it's each to your own. There's no right and wrong way of drawing anything, no matter who told you that there is a right and wrong way of doing anything. But it's just, you know, you've got to establish what you find easiest for you. So I'm going to go in with slightly, I think I might use Payne's Grey by the Luminance, not the Luminance, and make this a touch darker. Oh. And then feel like I'm just gonna pop a little bit of black down, not an awful lot, just a little bit. And then this bit here, I'm gonna use Cold Grey 2, because even though I feel like it might be a little bit too light for the highlight, in fact no, that's a lie, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use a Silver Grey, which I know is beyond too light, but I'd rather keep this highlight bit much lighter than what I need, so I can go in and really darken it down and work on it a bit slower so it doesn't become too rushed and it looks a bit more natural. I think with anything, when you're working on colour pencils, like, err with caution. Don't just go in and expect. This video has been really broken up because there's lots of people in the house right now, as I said, and people are sort of walking upstairs and coming in and trying to have a chat, and I'm like, guys, I'm trying to film. So I hope this is making sense. But yeah, I think I was saying about Patreon, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and I just said that basically it's not going to happen, but I will be putting as much content onto YouTube as I possibly can, and keeping this platform as knowledgeable but also as relaxed as possible. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself and try and deliver too much, and yeah, and then feel like super under pressure to deliver. So I am just trying to establish a bit more without going in too hard, sort of using the sort of medium light pressure. I'm also just gonna pop some Cool Grey down here. I need to sharpen this pencil. Oh, I know you're not gonna be in focus. Right, let's make you in focus, please. Oh, please tell me you're in focus. I don't feel like you are. Anyway, I'm going to try not to go on for too long because I feel like I've kind of covered everything I needed to say so far, but obviously I feel like you might want to see a little bit more of the art side and the drawing, so I think I might just try and do a little bit more, like maybe try and get this bit in and then I call it a day. But yeah, a bit of a weird week, I must say. Quite a lot of weird stuff that's happened. Right, I'm gonna pop Cold Grey 2 in because even though this isn't that dark, like the pencil that I've just put down isn't that dark, I feel like it's too dark for what I need, so I'm just gonna go in and sort of just go over the top and lighten it up a little bit with this. And then I think I will I feel like this is going to take a little bit of time to do because it takes so much more concentration. So yeah, as I think I've said, like I'm going with the lightest colours as what I always recommend with colour pencil, and then just building up the layers slowly, like with anything. As I said, it doesn't really matter what direction you're working in with this. You can see, like I'm sort of going in with lots of different angles and things like that. So just. Okay, right, let's just darken this bit up. So the darkest colour I'm really using is Payne's Grey, which I know you can't really get much darker than that for like a bluey grey colour, but I feel like if you go straight in with black it can look a bit flat, so I'd always recommend sort of going in with and building up your colours underneath the black. I don't think there's a part of this portrait that's actually got any black on it, so the house is so noisy. yeah, so I think I'm gonna film a Instagram video for you all in the next day or 2 days. Hopefully it'll be live on Monday. I just need to make some notes and sort of draft out a video that I think will be interesting. So I'm just gonna try and establish where some of these marks go, because I feel like it's a hard one. Buckles are never easy. Leather is not an easy subject to draw, and that's why I thought, even though it's a bit of a mundane subject, I thought it would be quite interesting for you guys to see how I do it. And like, I'm gonna definitely be drawing the noseband on camera, because it's such an intricate thing and it's so shiny as well, that I think it'll be a really good it'll be like a shine tutorial, like how to draw shiny leather, because I think it's like painting, if I remember correctly. I'm not going to move my iPad and look at the photo, but yeah, if I remember correctly, that is it. So now I've got the same sort of problem that I had when I did the bit down there, whereas I need to almost like try and glaze over the top of colours. So one of the things, if you've burnished into the paper, and what I mean by burnish, if you put too much, well, not too much, if you put a lot of pressure down, and it makes it hard to sort of like go over with that much pressure, to change the sort of like the colour of the paper, you can almost use a light pressure and sort of almost like glaze over the top like you wouldn't with an oil paint. I'm just going to pick up some of the highlights with white. Okay. Then when I think I've done that, I think I'm going to have to go get some lunch in a minute. My stomach is like rumbling. But I really wanted to get this a little bit done on camera, but I don't want this video to be too long, because I feel like it's going to suck up all the internet for the rest of the afternoon when I try and upload it onto YouTube. And my family won't be happy. Well, I say my family won't be happy, my brother won't be happy, because he likes to play on his PlayStation a lot. I feel like there was something else I was going to talk to you about. I can't really remember what it was. Trying to find what pencil to use. I actually got a bit bored the other day, and I have downloaded Disney Plus, which I'm a little bit ashamed to admit, to be honest, because I feel like it's such a kids thing, but I'm absolutely loving it. I've been watching Beauty and the Beast this morning, it's great. Oh. Right, so this is what I mean about the Tombow mono eraser. It just, you gotta clean it and then just move the marks off, and then it goes, like, it all sits a lot better. I need to change and move this around so I can get a better idea of what it's looking like from another angle. So yeah, I'm going to be spending the rest of my afternoon working on a bit of leather so I can get this live and onto YouTube for you, hopefully for this evening. can't believe how many of you have joined me over the last couple of weeks. Like if you're new, then welcome and a massive thank you for joining me. If you've come from like Instagram or something. In fact, it'd be really great if you could let me know where you've come from. Like if you have come from yeah, as I said, Instagram, whether you found this channel on YouTube or Facebook, or it's just a bit like some SEO work really. Get to know where, you know, where you found this channel, so I know how to market it better really. As I said, it's not really a channel for tutorial work. I don't feel like I'm really that good at being a teacher at the moment. I mean, there's always time, I know, but yeah, so but at the moment it's mainly for just these little sort of like rambly videos. I'll do some very short sort of technique videos, and obviously I love to talk about anything to do with business. I find business fascinating, so that is something that you can definitely expect to see more of, and it really makes me happy because so many of you who watched the branding video, you know, tagged me in your Instagram stories, and yeah, it was amazing to see so many of you engaged, because half the time I feel like I'm just rambling on and waffling, but yeah, I mean, I think some of you, if not a lot of you, found it quite useful. So because I think, yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the most important factors that I found when building this business is to be able to brand yourself properly. So yeah, if you haven't checked that video out, then I'll link it below. But I was quite proud of that video. I felt like it came together quite well. Just gonna pop a bit of black in here. This is so hard. I really enjoy drawing leather, but at the same time I really don't, because I find it so difficult to get everything right and stop it looking weird. I feel like leather always looks weird. It goes through a stage where it's sort of like not how I want it to look, and I have to like smooth out some of the edgy bits and put a bit darker bits through it and try and make it come together a little bit more, because otherwise it can just look a bit streaky and it doesn't look realistic. You almost want it to be blended, but not massively blended. I don't know, it's hard to explain really. So just gonna pop this bit in here. Right, I'm gonna go and get some lunch. I am starving. I don't think I've eaten since breakfast, and it's almost 2 o'clock. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna stop filming now. I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you possibly learned something in this video, or if you're just here for the chats, then hey, yeah, really glad to have you here. Thank you for joining me, and if you do like this video, please do give it a like, and if you don't like this video, then I'm sorry, you don't have to watch it. As blunt as that really. Anyway, yeah, sorry this video has been a bit like all over the place, but yeah, as I said, I've kind of had some exciting news, some sad news, and some pauses over the last couple of hours, so I'm just a bit all over the place. I'm just trying to settle back in and get drawing again properly, and spend the afternoon here, and I'll probably make this into like a little IGTV video, but for now I will see you in my next one, which will be probably on Monday, and we will talk all about things Instagram. So make sure you have subscribed if you would like to see that, and turn on the little notifications bell. I feel like that's what all YouTubers say, so I'm going to say it too. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, lots of love, bye.